Welcome back everybody to a place where you get encouragement and weekly insights about how to have a good mental health. Thanks for sparing some time for our channel. It's me, your counselor. I'm thankful our family is growing. Thanks to those who are watching, subscribing and sharing. Please don't stop to share with other people so the family can grow more and more. It is an honor for me to do this. Today we're going to talk about the brain or the mind. How can we control our brain to have a good mental health? That's what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to begin with giving a brief background about this brain or the mind. There was a research that was done by the best neurologists in the world, and they found out that nearly all people use 10% of their brain, and 65% of people who were sampled agreed with that. Can you imagine that? We use 10% of our brain, most of the people in the world, which is okay. And it was backed up by some research by Gabriel Ann, who found out that if we would use our brain 100%, it would lead to epileptic seizures, which means it would be dangerous to use our brains 100%. So whether you use your brain 10%, 20% or 30 or 100%, if you fail to understand how your brain works, how you should control your brain, you're going to have tremendous void. And that's what I want to focus on today. This brain is a very important thing. It's very small and it weighs around 3 pounds or less, but it controls the whole body. Our body is so big, but it's just the brain that controls the body. This brain that we have, we can condition our brain to work in a certain way. We can use our brain in things that we want to use. For me, I like to keep my brain thinking positive. In everything that happens, I want to think positive. I want to think in a certain direction. Probably a few people want to think that way, but I'm okay because I want to have a good mental health. If something happens and you decide to think positive, it's going to keep your mental health well. So, can we control how we think? Yes, we can control how we think and how we use our brain. I have an example myself. I went on a safari and I didn't train for like 2 weeks or more, and I came back with a lot of fatigue, and I wanted to exercise, go back to running around, but my body was so weak and my brain was failing to go back to running. And I tried to go, but still my body was weak and I couldn't handle things. But I told my brain, what do I want out of this? The same thing you should do. When your brain is failing to do something, to adapt to something, take a second and think, what do I want from this? For example, if you are a student trying to learn a mathematical number, ask yourself, why am I learning this? Do you want to learn it or you don't want to learn it? Once you decide and say, I want to learn it, then you have to push your brain, even when it cannot move forward, because our brain was made in a way that for ambiguous things or things that look to be complicated, it tries to switch off. So all you have to do is keep pressing. Tell your brain, no, we can't. I have to move forward because you haven't achieved the results. And I promise you, if you continue to try that, to push your brain forward, it's going to reach a certain level and just give in, and you have to accept. That's what happened. That's what I did in that time when I had a lot of fatigue. And finally, I ran, but it was through hard work and persistence so that the brain can work. You can use some exercises to help your brain, or a few things to help your brain work in a positive way. You can meditate and think about things that you want. You can keep your mind shifted from the things you like, the positive things. That's going to help your brain to to work naturally, to work in a good way, because your brain can be controlled. If you don't control your brain, it can end up failing and failing you. But I know you want success. That's what you want in your life. You want to have success. If you look at these people who are going on stage, bodybuilders, for the first time, they try to pose and things don't work out, and they want to just stop the posing because their backs or their bodies are not made in a certain way. But those who persist and they tell their brain, no, I want to be the best bodybuilder, I want to stay doing this. It happens that at the end of it all, they practice and their brain is going to adapt to that, and it's going to know, no, there is no way out from this one. I have to keep doing it. I have to go forward. Another way how to condition your brain, how to teach your brain to move forward, is by thinking about situations before they actually happen. Let's say your husband promises you to buy you something, or comes back early, and this day he comes back late, or you see it gets to 9 o'clock and he's not coming back, or he comes back with nothing when he promised to buy you something. What you decide to think will evoke emotions on how your brain will work. So if you think that, oh, he came back late because he's with other people, he's trying to cheat on me, then it's going to have a negative impact on your mental health, because you're going to be worrying and thinking about that. It's going to stress your body, your brain, yet you have a lot of other things to do. You have to balance family and stuff. So, but if you externalize that and say, maybe he came late because of something, or maybe he didn't buy me this cloth because of something, it's going to help you if you learn how to externalize things like that. Your brain can be triggered to think in any way you want, and it can do anything you want, however difficult it might be. Look at students who are in a biology class. They might be dissecting a rat or a frog and they fail. But if they know it's a compulsory paper that they have to do, then they tell their brain, no, there's no any other way, unless if we're going to get 0 in the whole paper. So they tell their brain, we have to do it. There's no escape plan. And they keep coming back and they try to dissect the cat or the rat or the frog. And finally the brain is going to learn it. They're going to do it. So that's how we have to learn to use our brain to have a good mental health, because in all ways we need to have a good mental health, because our brain is very, very important to our lives, and we should make sure that we think well, and we know what we are thinking, we know what we are doing to protect our brain, because our brain is everything. So some things that are going to cause you stress, you can think about them earlier before you face them. So by the time you attack them, you already know what to do. Like the example of a difficult person, when you know that, oh, I'm going there, but that guy might respond in a negative way. So if you know that already, it helps your mind. If it happens, it doesn't stress you, it doesn't discourage you, it doesn't sound like it's a new thing. You already know it. Don't let people stress you. Think about things before they happen. Think about situations, read about everything, so they don't lie to you, they don't lie to your brain, so you can safeguard your brain, your mind, your emotions. Don't stress your brain with a lot of things that you cannot control. Those external things that you cannot control. Somebody came late, or they didn't buy something. You cannot control that. So don't let that be a problem to your brain. You're going to fall sick for nothing, because that's something you can figure out easily. But it begins with your mind. Whatever you feed in your mind, it's gonna be. If you feed your mind with all those things that are gonna blow your mind off, it's going to happen. Because your brain is just like a chip. in the car, whatever things you press in it, it will give you the results. When you worry, it's gonna bring the results of worry. So I hope you think, you let your brain think the things that are going to help you have a good mental health and move forward in a positive way. Alright, thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.